Words cannot describe how genuine, how sweet, and how awesome my guest is this evening. I have someone I've known from college, someone who's done so many inspiring things in the post-graduation world, and I was very, very happy to see that she was willing to come on, and I thank you for that. But seriously, guys, we have a great one in store. It's my guest. She doesn't need an introduction. She doesn't need an introduction, but she's still a wonderful person, and I'm so happy she's on. But everybody, here is Julie Weiss. What's going on, Julie? Thank you for coming on the Productive Conversations podcast.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. My old coworker from the SCA, even for the brief time I was there, someone I often saw on campus. God. Both mutual friends.
I can't believe you mentioned that.
Right? Oh, can't forget those three letters. Mutual friend, the great Brad Friend, and other things. And it's really great to see you. And thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, it's so nice to see you too. It's been a while.
Yes, it has. So this is a great time to catch up, trying to figure out our adulting things. And I'd like to hear about all the cool stuff you have been up to. But first things first, Julie, tell me, are you ready for 2020 to be over like I am? You know, we're recording in mid-December, but you're on the first week of 2021. So I guess first things first, tell me, what have you really learned and got out of 2020? And what do you want to do? And from what you learned, how are you going to apply that to have an awesome 2021?
Ooh, that's a good question. I actually was thinking about this the other day because I'm someone who likes to reflect a lot.
Of course.
And I actually learned to fall in love with fitness, which is actually completely opposite of what you would think because the gyms were shut down.
Yeah.
For most of it.
Tell me about, that's a positive sense of irony. So in a time, so you're Massachusetts, right? You're in Boston area, or you're in Boston?
Yeah, I moved here about 3 years ago.
Awesome. So I don't know. It's fair to say that gyms haven't been open that much in 2021, but ironically, you figured out how to still fall in love with fitness without a gym, because we can still get in shape without the equipment. So
right.
Tell me, Julie, why this year, the year that you really got into fitness?
I think I do a lot of personally, I just have these cycles and I always have bad habits, like stress eating and all that.
Yeah.
I just wanted finally to do take out all my stress and anxiety in a healthy way. And I think with COVID, it shut down everything. So you couldn't do anything except I was lucky enough to be staying at home in my hometown, which is in New London, Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am lucky enough to run and have space without having to worry about, a lot of people being around. So I kind of fell in love with it because I was stuck in my room all day working on PowerPoints and all work. And I was like, fresh air. And I got to be with my dog, which I, don't have my dog up here because it's my parents. So It was just, I think it really, you take time when you run to really think. And it just started becoming an addiction. And it sounds so corny because everyone says that. They're like, I ran and it was the best thing I ever did with my life. But it really was true.
I had a similar path of that too, really fall in love with fitness, especially post-college. And I know exactly that gut feeling you're talking about, like a positive bad habit, that's a oxymoron, a positive habit. We usually say habits, and for some reason we like to put bad habits from it.
Yeah, I know, because we have a lot of those.
Us human beings trying to figure it out. But in this positive habit, you really learn to fall in love with fitnessing and getting rid of stress that way. I'm a big Howard Stern fan. He had John Cena on, big wrestler, Macho Man, Adonis. And I remember he was like, yeah, man, I got stressed. And he was talking about how he would get bullied as a kid. And he was like, yeah, I turned to fitness and working out to avoid my distractions. And Howard's like, that's good. I turned to drugs. So it's good. it's good you take a similar John Cena route instead of a you know, the vices that we've seen not work a lot. But
I'm glad I embody John Cena to
yes,
you.
exactly. And
I feel like that's a huge honor.
and I can actually see you because we can't actually see John Cena, as you know.
That's true. It's true.
So like with fitness, so obviously you're at home. You said running mostly. You started running. Um, Besides running, were you also getting into calisthenics, maybe some weight training after the gyms actually started opening, or are you mostly just running, getting that? Maybe soon we'll see you in a marathon. Hopefully, you'll be announcing one day with that. What direction have you been going to with fitness wise?
So it is very highly unlikely that you will see me in the Boston Marathon because I am not a runner like that. I think in the beginning of COVID, during quarantine, when things were seriously shut down, I was a runner because it was like the only thing I could do to get
Right.
out of the house. Um, and we have weights in the basement, but we just like have so much junk in there that there was never any room.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually I started making some room and using the weights again. But I actually came up back to Boston in June, and I think the best thing was my roommate at the time. She and I used to go to the track at Harvard Stadium,
All
and we
right.
would do like workouts. We bought some weights, and it was just like a ton of fun. So I think having a workout buddy was great. And
Mm-hmm.
then I kind of, once the gyms opened, I really started lifting a lot. And that's, to me, is like my favorite thing to do. I just hit new PR this week.
All
I'm really
right. Congratulations to that. Let's
Thank you.
go with that. What are you? Are you someone who likes to, are you, you like to do free weights? You like hitting the bench, a lot of squatting, a lot of dumbbell work? Like, are you the whole
All of it.
package in that sense? Great. Awesome.
All of it. And then I actually finished it off with some dance, trying to
Sweet.
improve my dance skills. So
Oh, cool, cool. Before we get into that, because I'm very interested, just with like just the weight trainer, you someone who's like, chest and triceps on Monday, back and biceps on Tuesday, shoulders this day,
mhm.
your core another day. Is that how you like to go about your fitness, or you do your thing? What do you usually do when it comes to weight training in that sense?
Yeah. So I actually uh used to have a trainer a long time ago. I think post college. I think it was like right after,
Okay.
at the Planet Fitness in my hometown. And so it was
I'm
a
I'm
very
a
like
fellow Planet
basic,
Fitness person.
yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
So it was a very basic, like Monday was legs, Tuesday was, it was just like upper body, lower body kind of
Yeah.
thing. Um, but then I've started following this girl on Instagram,
Hmm.
that goes by the handle at College Clean Eating.
College clean
And
eating.
yeah, she's great. I love her workouts. It's super cheap. It's like $10 a month. And you get workouts. They change it up all the time. Um, but she hits legs a lot,
Hmm.
which helped me. And that's hence why I became more in love with lifting. And it has like a really cool female empowerment vibe to it too. So I follow her workouts every day, and I've seen so much change in myself, and I love it.
That's very sweet and beautiful to hear. That's congratulations on that with your glow up
Thanks.
and everything, and just I'm sure that's not only empowering yourself physically but also helping mentally as well. You know, I think one thing that can be discussed, not only with fitness is great, obviously for to help your body physically, internally, get out that junky cholesterol and changing your eating habits. But you could also attest how important mentally it really is as a stress reliever. Could you go into that a little bit and how of much of a benefit the mental aspect of fitness has been
Mhm.
for not only you and anyone else who is going down that path?
Yeah. Um, so as you've probably seen on my Instagram, I promote a lot of mental health. And the reason why I do that is because have suffered from depression since I was a kid, which you probably wouldn't tell from like meeting me or anything, because I'm a
Mhm.
very like outgoing, happy person. But I struggle severely a lot with like clinical depression. And to me, it's been such a roller coaster of figuring out what ways worked and what ways didn't. And my anxieties with things like that, once I've always like tried to be fit and it never really clicked. And I think once I really changed my mentality, thinking I'm not being fit so people will like me, I'm not being fit so guys will talk to me, I'm being fit because it's going to literally change my mental space and my physical space, and it's just going to, it's an act of self-love. Taking care of yourself like that is an act of self-love, and I realized neglecting it was me just destroying my body. So I think it's so like life changing mentally. It's just, that's kind of why I got so addicted to the gym this year, because I think everyone got more depressed being alone and being isolated, that you have to find a new way and you have to adapt. And in a way, like they say, diamonds come from coal under pressure. So honestly, that's what it was.
Wow. First off, Julie, I'd like to thank you for being brave and being honest with that. I really appreciate you doing that, and we all appreciate, especially the listeners. I know it's not easy to explain that part of your past, and I can be honest too, because I actually dealt with those same anxieties in my life prior. I was a very down and out, and I used to take therapy sessions myself, and a therapist helped me
Love
figure out.
therapy.
Yes, seriously. My wonderful Catherine, she was my counselor at the time, and I and it's not easy. It's a battle that will, for I know it's, some people like to say, oh, shake it off, do this, that, and then the other,
Yeah.
but it's not like that. It's not easy, just turn a switch on. Maybe it is for some people, and power to them, but everyone has their own way of coping things, and no matter who you are, you're still a strong person willing to
Right.
defeat that, whether you could turn on or off, whether it takes some time and you need that patience and trust
Or
in yourself.
medication,
Yeah,
honestly.
medication as well, if for those who do need it. And I want to make it clear for anyone listening, for anyone, obviously you shared that and we appreciate it. I share myself. I want to let people know that you're not alone. You are you are an amazing, strong person, no matter where you come from or your background. And we all believe in you, whoever needs to hear this, that you can overcome those obstacles. And whether it's fitness helping you defeat that, whether it's a new hobby, whether it's a finding a new passion in life, there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to coping with anxiety and mental illness. It's just knowing that you're not alone. You have people who are there for you, and we believe in you that you'll overcome it. And I'm sure that person who needs it can overcome themselves. And that's just how I see it. And I'm not an expert, or I'm just going with my personal experience. But someone who is working, who has worked in that field and who's genuine about it, would you agree, like, that's something you would say for anyone who needs that kind of message now?
Yeah, and I think also to say that, like, just because you have a mental illness doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. I think for a long time I was like, what is wrong with me? Why am I born this way? And sometimes I get mad and angry because it's a chemical imbalance,
Yeah.
I take my medication and I don't get as, depressed, and I'm okay. And I do things normally and I add in fitness, and it's just, medication, mental illness, that stuff doesn't make you weird. It doesn't make you like a freak or anything like that. It just makes you human.
Yeah.
And you're smart by actually taking care of yourself and doing the right things to make yourself better.
Absolutely. I can't agree more. It's again, everybody's different, but everybody is an awesome person. That's
Right.
why, that's at the true core of the things of why I made this podcast,
Mm.
Of course, I would love to one day interview celebrities, but I have that's ways to go.
I have
But
no doubt that you will. Truly do believe you will.
that genuinely means a lot. That's very sweet. Thank you so much, Julie. That I really appreciate it. And whatever you're going, I know that you're going to be far and killing it. But and as I was saying, that will be at that whenever that is in the future. I want to show how cool by regular I mean someone who's just not high profiled yet.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Not
extraordinary.
yet.
Exactly. I genuinely believe everyone's extraordinary, and besides any career advancement, any way to show my creativity, the podcast, of course that's great and I appreciate it, but I really genuinely want to show, whether talking with me or someone listening, me talking with someone else, just want to show that everybody has a story, everyone's worth talking to, and whether you're a
Mhm.
celebrity promoting a movie, a book, or whatever, that's awesome, and it's genuine to really hear how that version of someone's success story. But I just wanted to show that the everyday person is awesome too, and that we all are human, and I hope that one day, whenever this podcast ends in another 80 years, because I've planned to do this for a very long time, I just want to hope that goal is accomplished, and also show that anyone who's especially dealing with obstacles, that you can overcome them. And whether if anyone needs this help, I'm sure Julie would love to I mean, not to speak for you, but I'm sure just because you're a genuine person, that Julie,
Yeah.
someone could be there for you. Feel free to reach out to me at Matt Brown 300. And as long as I'm awake, and I really mean this, as long as I'm awake and have access to the phone, I will talk to someone, and you will overcome this, and we will see you, whoever you are, who needs this. We believe in you, that you'll overcome any obstacles. I'm sure you agree with that.
Yeah, you guys can message me too at JulieDW17 on Instagram. Again, if I'm awake, because
Mhm.
I am now a grandma, will go to bed at like 10:30, and someone will message me. I'm like, yeah, and then totally pass out in the middle of a text.
Well, I know that you're the type that at least will wake up, as long as you're good, that you'll respond back, and we appreciate
Right.
people like you, Julie. Thank you for that. Seriously, I really appreciate someone like you, and I know these listeners do. So, like I
Thanks.
said,
That means a lot.
you're not alone, and no matter what way to overcome mental health or mental illness, you can. We believe in you, and I just can't wait to see you all overcome and hear great stories like that. So
Mm.
I genuinely mean that. So we can switch it up a little. Why don't we meant to make it into some positive things? So
Yeah, go.
dance. You are
Mhm.
you love to dance. I see you post on your stories, you post posts, and you got some moves, Julie. And so
Thank you.
you said that you really got you advanced more, got some more experience dancing in 2020. Were you someone who loved to dance prior to that?
Yeah, so I started dancing when I was a kid. I did tap, and in like first or second grade. And then I moved on to hip hop. Don't ask me why, but I was like, from the moment I've been born, I knew I wanted to do hip hop. There's just like something about it that I love deeply. And
Maybe something was playing on your way home from the hospital.
maybe maybe some 90s R&B makes sense as to why I love that. um but yeah, so I started dancing, and I stopped for a while because they made you take ballet to
Okay,
advance, and I said,
interesting.
that's too girly for me, I'm not going to do that. So which I regret now, because ballet is like some of the fundamentals of all dance. um and then took a little break, did it for 2 years in high school in the dance club. And then in college, I went to a couple of classes off campus with a couple of friends.
Mhm.
And then after that, I didn't really do it for a long time. And I think I realized that was part of what was missing in my life, because if I
Mhm.
truly like think about it, it's one of my biggest passions. And I just have that imposter syndrome that I'm like, oh, you're not a dancer, you're not good enough. So I just stopped doing it. But I've had a friend that reached out to me this summer who actually was helping me become a better dancer, and she got me into that. She's actually the reason why I posted that recent post of
Mhm.
dancing. So yeah, I've just been trying to practice more and more and get better. And even though I'm 26, which is like old in the dancer world, I'm gonna keep going.
Hey, it's never too late, and I'm sure you watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Yeah, of course.
So you remember Aunt Viv, that special one of their really special episodes when they said she was too
Yeah,
old to dance? You could be
yeah.
Aunt Viv in your own world, with with all due respect to her, she was, I think, much older than, we'll just say much older than 26. But
Yes, yes.
I mean, I think you could keep doing it. You had some great
Hey,
moves, your latest posts and breaking it down, and shouts to your dancing mentor, if you will, who inspired you to keep at it. Isn't it great to hear? We sometimes we really do need just that one person to tell us we believe in them, and then at the end we learn to believe in ourselves.
yeah, actually, she was someone from Newhart as well. Angie Engral, I think I'm saying her last name right. She actually reached out to me and was saying she's doing physical therapy and
Hmm.
she's getting her master's, I believe, or like finishing up in school. And her and I used to go to those off-campus dance classes together. And she reached out to me saying she wants to combine physical therapy and dance to help future dancers. So
Yeah.
and include like mental health. So I was her little test subject, and we spent 8 weeks practicing mental health as well as dancing and like breaking down this choreography that I wanted to learn.
No way, no way. And so with that, are you still advancing, try to figure out them out, or do you think you'll post a performance of that very soon?
Oh, that's the one that I
That
posted.
was the one.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
excuse
yeah,
me for
yeah.
that.
So
But
now I'm on to the next one.
yeah, that's what I meant. Like, are you planning to do another one after the fact? But that's okay. Great, great. That seriously, I saw it was nice and too nice and sync. Good song choice, and
Thank you.
please, again, we could check your Instagram, right, if we wanted to see you break down those moves.
Yes.
All right, and sweet, sweet. And then can I ask? So, as you mentioned, hip hop. I'm sure you're not only a fan of hip hop dancing, but I'm sure you're a hip hop fan, right?
Oh yeah.
Could you
100%.
tell me some of your favorite hip hop artists, whether they're performers now or after?
Ooh, ooh. I don't know if it necessarily counts as hip hop, but like R&B,
Hmm.
like
Oh, I
the
love
mix of
R.
R&B and hip hop.
Yeah,
I am a huge Chris Brown fan.
Chris Brown, the hit
Huge.
maker.
Yeah, a lot of his older stuff too, his new stuff. Trey Songz, Kehlani. I think that's more of like the newer
Of course, of
stuff.
course.
I'm always into the new stuff. Um, but I've been listening to a lot of 2000s R&B and hip hop hits lately too.
That nostalgia is hitting. You know what some of those artists are?
I can't remember actually off the top of my head. It's so sad.
Just hit the 2000s throw R&B throwback playlist on Spotify.
That's usually what I do. Beyonce, of course.
Of course, great Beyonce, Neo's
Missy
good,
Elliott.
Missy Elliott. With if we're going with R&B, it's off the top of my head. I mean, do you know the Fugees by any chance? Like Lauryn
Yeah.
Hill and
Hmm.
Wyclef. I guess they're a
Hmm.
nice mixture of hip hop, R&B. Really,
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of that trio. Um, do you remember? This is a one-hit wonder, but do you know the song? Uh, it was by this artist Mario. I don't know. It's sad.
Oh, um, Down. Is it?
I know there's Down by Jermaine. Jermaine's another good one.
Oh,
Really
okay.
good
But yes,
one.
that was
But
one.
oh man, the only thing I wish I could play it, but because I'm not at that level yet, the YouTube would have to flag me for the music being played. To be honest, but I'll send it over to you. But it was just like, yo, bring you back to simpler times.
Oh my God. Back to the middle school, elementary school.
Oh man, Ush. You remember you like Usher?
Oh yeah. Oh my
Hmm.
God. I was in love with Usher. I wanted to marry Usher. Like,
He had those confessions. Well,
oh my
he
God.
kind of looks like the same when we were in middle school and high and elementary school, right?
Yeah, I hope to look like as good as he does.
Same
From
here,
his
same here, and not the cheating way, not the Howard Stern way.
yeah.
You know, one of the things I loved as a kid during that time, obviously, I love my movies and TV.
Mm.
Maybe some would say too obsessed, and then I say not obsessed enough. What were like some of your favorite shows growing up in the 2000s? Like, what were some of your favorite kid shows?
Ooh. Um, so as a really young kid, I'm totally gonna be revealing myself. Loved, loved the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh,
I
who didn't? Honestly, they were the squad. They showed what great squads were.
but I had when I mind you, I was a little kid though.
Mhm.
I had the bed sheets. And
Oh,
I was a Powerpuff Girl. I had the Powerpuff Girl costume.
hmm.
I was just here, pillowcases. I had it all.
Oh my goodness. Do you remember going to the Powderpuff movie as a kid?
Yes. Oh my God.
Duh. I mean, right? So we have to ask. We have to we have to, since you brought up the Powderpuff Girls, we have to establish this. Are you more of a Buttercup, a Bubbles, or a Blossom?
So I always wanted to be Blossom because I was like, Blossom's the best. She's the prettiest.
Yes, she's
But
the red one. If for
she's
those who needs to remember, Blossom was
right.
the red
She's the
one,
one in
Bubbles was
charge.
blue, and Buttercup was green. But
Yeah,
okay, so you're more of a Blossom. I always identified myself as more as a Buttercup. Maybe I like that.
really. I could kind of see it. But I actually got the nickname of Bubbles because in college as because I'm so bubbly and they're like, oh, you used to like Powerpuff Girls. So
Oh man, you know shows I really liked as a kid back then. I loved Ed, Edd n Eddy. If you're
oh
going
my
the
God.
Cartoon Network route,
Plank.
Plank. I think when I grew up, I just realized all they wanted to do was hustle. They were grinders. Didn't give up.
Yeah. They made it, they were trying.
I was watching Courage the Calorie Dog.
That used to scare the crap out of
That
me.
literally scared. I saw your face. You had the. Oh man.
I loved it, but I would watch it because it would come on later on at night,
Oh
and I
yeah.
would be so afraid to go to bed because half the time they're like, what?
Yeah.
It was them stuffing them into like a toy. It was so
Oh
weird.
yeah,
It was
like that episode when he thought that the butcher was actually cooking the people. That was kind of freaky.
yeah, it's a freaky one, but I loved it at the same time.
Do you remember? It was like that creepy Nick guy, and he's like, "I'm naughty." Like that's naughty.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh my God, this is why I have nightmares.
Or return the flask or suffer my curse. Remember that guy?
Yeah, oh my God. There was also what shows did I watch? Avatar growing up. Did you see on Netflix that they
They got the revive. They got reboot. It almost like they got a second life with all the people who fell in love with it again.
Mhm.
I hate to report that I wasn't much of an Avatar person. I respect it though.
I have loved I loved it then and I loved it now and it is a timeless show.
Oh man, you just one random thought, just one random thing with the courage. First two, one.
Yeah.
So I saw a hilarious meme of the return the flask guy. Said, "Yo, someone has to return his flask because 2020 keeps happening."
That makes so much sense now.
Right? Boy, someone really needs to before it's only the aliens left who need
Honestly.
to do that.
Yeah, did you see that article about how the aliens actually do exist and
The Galactic Empire.
yeah, what the
Mm-hmm.
hell?
I've you know
I don't know anymore what to believe. You can't make anything up in 2020, so
seriously beyond that, when it comes to the aliens being real, I mean, I don't know. Let's I think it. if this is real, that is some coincidence. This is the Galactic Empire. That sounds like right out of a failed sci-fi Hollywood movie. And look,
Mm-hmm.
and they just so happen to speak English and human language. But hey, I don't know.
Right.
If I'm completely wrong, I'm sorry, Galactic Empire. Let me. Can you give me a job? And
Yeah.
well, you know, I'll go with the believe it when I see it. And they were saying like, oh, Trump was about to spill the beans, but we told him not to say it. But I'm telling you all that we told him not to by telling you all.
Okay.
So I don't know. Do you think aliens are out there, Julie?
um, I have mixed feelings. I feel like it makes sense is there to be other life forms because why is it just us?
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, I prefer not to think about it because I need to go to sleep at night, and that would that would scare the crap out of me.
You know what? I'm gonna go with the benefit of the doubt and say, you know what, aliens are real, but maybe they're really nice. Maybe they're
Yeah,
just trying to be
yeah,
cool. Maybe
yeah.
they're not
Maybe they're
all haters.
yeah, yeah. Who knows? I mean, maybe like we're best friends with an alien and we have no freaking clue.
Yes. See, we're gonna go with our prediction. I like that one better. The one will make
Mm,
us sleep
me
better at night.
too.
And just the last thing on the courage that I
Mm,
found. So I watched I watched a lot of video essays, nerding out, breaking down, oh, this means this in this TV show, this means that in that movie. So I saw this thing called Wisecrack about Courage the Cowardly Dog. And pretty much long story short, it's really deep. And they said, and they agreed to it. The show is scary. It was legitimately scary. And, they came up with all these animation techniques and stuff like that.
mm,
And, but I don't know. I found this interesting, but they said the real meaning behind courage is to show that fear, though it could, take people over and, obviously figure you out, fear can also be used to help you overcome your own obstacles and figure stuff out.
mm,
Because if you, again, this is a kid show, because I know this is quite deep for a kid show, but if you notice, like, obviously he's really scared, but he was still able to figure out ways to save, Muriel or save the day, right?
mm.
And it's really fascinating like that. And I think, kind of similar, and as someone relates to what we were talking about earlier, that the fact that sometimes all emotions are good to help show us we're human. And I think that's really fair. Like, they say fight or flight when it comes to deciding certain situations. And I think even fear can, as long as you don't let it take it over, you can, get out of crazy situations like that. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes we get so in our head that it's hard for us to like break out of the fact that we can differentiate this is okay. Like I'm
Yeah.
not going to die, like, but it is like a healthy fear is okay.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like it's the inside out factor. It shows that
Yeah,
we can use those factors. So
exactly.
I just found that interesting. And just some other
No,
good.
I love learning stuff like that. I'm a huge fan of Taylor Swift, and she always has like these little things included
Oh,
that she puts in her videos, which
yeah.
I think is super clever.
Oh, we shouts to the great Taylor Swift for that. And yeah, I like the little Easter eggs and this means that. Did you listen to her new album?
Yeah, I
How
did.
is
I love it.
I haven't listened to it yet. I've only heard like the one singer and it was popping, but you did like it and stuff. It won't disappoint for the Taylor Swift fans and the casual fans.
Yeah, I don't think I'll disappoint. What I really like about this album is the fact that a lot of them are stories.
Yeah.
Or in her music, she went from country to pop, and then
Hmm.
I don't know, just kind of lost herself, I think. And now she has come back to herself, found her true sound. And I think someone had commented or wrote a little recommendation saying how this album is the like album Taylor Swift was born to make.
Yeah, it's literally named after her too. And I think that I encourage artists who are willing to explore themselves and explore their music and creativity. And I think that
Mhm.
is, as you mentioned, that's what's cool with particularly Taylor Swift done. I think Miley Cyrus has done a good
Mm,
job with experimenting with that.
yeah.
I liked your new album a lot, and I think it's interesting to have artists like that. And I hope you know anyone who goes out there and makes their music, honestly, power to them. But we also
Mm.
just encourage people to be different. We can't be all the same, you know?
Oh yeah, true.
Hmm. Right. So, can I ask, what is your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Um,
Mine personally is "You Belong with Me." If I was
oh,
asked,
that's such a classic.
of course.
That that is one
I
of my
think if
favorite
it's
ones.
freshman year of high school was where it was really popping. So
Oh yeah. Um, I think White Horse
White
from one
Horse.
of her Speak Now albums in a very, very early times.
Mm.
I was definitely crushing over some boy in that like middle school age, and it's like, I need a white horse and a
Oh
spoon.
man,
No.
I wonder what I thought of like middle school songs. Ooh, that made me think I had it all in the love life.
Oh yeah.
Probably like I think I can think of the more high schools like those early Drake's "Find Your Love." I was like, man,
Oh
this
my
guy is
God.
speaking to me. Or any like Beatles songs that I got so Beatle hipstery over. It's like I know what they're saying. It's like they're speaking to
Experience
me.
it.
Oh man, cringy middle school music, but hey, we always got a special place for it. Is there any other like cringy middle school songs that you could laugh at now, but it's like, oh my god, I thought this was the anthem back in the day.
Ooh,
I
I
was
don't
like
know.
Akon like is one for me that sticks out right now. Na na na.
Oh my God. I still love that. Oh, here's a cringy one. Do you remember iCarly?
Of course.
So Miranda Cosgrove released like a few songs, and
Oh.
oh my God, I can't believe it was like sparks fly when
Oh.
I'm with you, and I was like, oh my God, yes, I remember that. I was so in love.
It really pushed falling in love at like 13, 14, those Nick
Yeah,
shows. Put pressure on us.
I was like, why don't I have a boyfriend? I'm 13. I was like, 13.
I remember Drake Bell had this a couple of songs. He had this one episode of Drake and Josh where he's saying like it was like this nice song gesture. It was a legit love song. I don't remember the episode, the Girl Scout. I thought that was
Hmm.
what you had to do, but it was weird because he was in high
No.
school and she was in, well, maybe that didn't age well, but I think it was nice gesture at the time. But the point I'm making, he wrote this like really sweet love song that I thought, you know, I think it's called like Happy Together or something like that.
Yeah, that's such a banger.
The bangers. I just heard this iCarly story this weekend. But so Miranda Cosgrove went to college. She went to like USC or UCLA, and she was
Oh.
said in an interview that like she was just a normal class, and she said it was annoying for her. Like she would like in a big lecture hall, she like raise her hand, and someone's like, "iCarly,"
Oh,
trying to answer her comm questions or something.
Jesus, that's annoying.
What a time! You imagine if we at UHeart had celebrities in class.
Who do you think would be at UHeart if
Who-
there was to be anybody?
Logan Paul.
That is so accurate.
He seems like a UHeart kid.
Yeah,
He's been in like
yes,
SA. He'd be in like SAE or something.
yes.
Destroy a village apartment. Logan
Literally, you
Paul.
described it perfectly.
Freaking Logan Paul. Oh man. Who I could tell you plenty of stories I wish that we could be I could befriend.
Oh my God. Like who?
If I could befriend Pete Davidson.
Mm,
I would love to be friends with Pete Davidson.
I think he's funny as heck. Like
Oh, obviously. He goes in. He's been on SNL for a long time and he's 26 himself and like look at
is he?
yeah, and I'm not kidding. He's really that young. I think he
Oh
might be
my God.
27, but he's definitely in his mid 20s.
He's my favorite person on SNL.
Oh, easily. I would say probably yeah. I'd think of the Kirk cast it'd be him, Kate McKinnon, and Chloe.
Mm,
Pronounce her last name. Those are my three
yeah,
favorite nouns, but I like them
agreed.
all. But who would you say is a who would you wish was a celebrity who was a student at UHeart that you could be friends with?
Oh, that's a good one. Um, mm, why can't I think of the name at the moment? But probably would be Kaylani.
Kehlani.
She is
Yeah.
one of my favorite all-time artists, and I feel like she would be so chill and would be always positive vibes, and it would just be so much fun to just chill with her, jam.
Hey, again, it's never too late to be friends with these people.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Good times with that. And have you actually met any celebrities before or in the company of anyone famous?
Um, the I think the closest thing I've had to a famous person, like knowing them, I don't know if you know who Casey Neistat is.
I swear I just heard that name very recently. Can I do a quick Google?
Yeah, go for it. He does a
Casey.
lot of video creation and like content
Oh
creation.
yeah, I know this dude. He's on YouTube.
Yeah. So he's pretty popular. He's actually from my hometown. His grandmother and his aunt, I believe it's his aunt, were my tap teachers
No
as
way.
kids. Yeah, and my parents know his parents as well. So that's like the closest thing I know to a celebrity. I don't know him personally.
Hmm.
But it's funny because my dad growing up, anytime I like was struggling in high school or something, he would actually compare it to Casey Neistat and would say, you know, Casey didn't want to go to Waterford High. He wanted to do something else. So he grabbed a camcorder and started recording, and look where he is now.
Look at that.
So yeah, so that's why it's just funny because I'm like, I never met the guy, but I know his family.
Mhm. Hey, how about that? Again, I'm sure one day with the people we mentioned and the people we've had met and been associated with, we can make some new friends who are just so happen to be high profile.
Yeah, or we will be.
Sweet. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Now,
Mm.
just like my less semi-serious point, but I think it's worth discussing. And
Mm.
see, stuff that you've been passionate about is something I really admire. That you make that fight is Black Lives Matter. I
Mm.
saw that you have a post, some posts about that, really trying to bring awareness, especially in this battle of social justice. So basically, my just one thing I want to discuss with that. How have you I mentioned some of the posts I seen you do, but for anyone else who doesn't know, like what have been some of the things you've noticed that needed to be changed when it comes to Black Lives Matter?
Um, you mean like in the way that we are trying to help and like make
Exactly,
create
like
change or just in
yeah, exactly, like helping create change. I've seen you've been doing some great awareness for
mm.
it. Can you just, if you mind, if you don't mind, if you would
Mhm.
like to discuss
No, I don't
um
mind.
what if you'd like to discuss the importance of what you're doing with that and what you have been doing?
Sure. I think it's important to everyone has these different levels of comfort zones, I think, when it comes to supporting such a big movement.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm someone who has a lot of friends that are, you know, people of color. They're Hispanic, Latino, Black, and I love learning about their culture and their heritage and just appreciating them for who they are. And it's just sometimes it's kind of crazy to me that how people will just hate on them for like their skin color. um and so the best thing I can do is like, I'm a white woman, you know, I have blonde hair, blue eyes, I'm the epitome of the Aryan race, and I have this opportunity to, as the person I am, to actually spread awareness. So I think for people aren't who are kind of are in my position, you know, a white person, you have that opportunity to just like post. I know a lot of people say, I don't want to see the post, it's not doing anything. I disagree. I think awareness is better than nothing. When we forget about it is when we like lose
Repeat
sight.
it. Those
what
who
we're
don't know
doing.
history are doomed to repeat it.
Right.
And
So, yeah.
no, I'm sorry, you were saying?
Um, so as like I'm white, but I'm also Jewish. And so, talk about the Holocaust, like that needs, it's nowhere near the same issues at all. And I'm not trying to compare the two, but I'm saying like you have to remember history. You have to like talk about it is what I'm trying to say in order to, you know, like keep putting it out there, make people more aware, because some people don't believe the Holocaust existed. Some people think it was a hoax, and some people
So
believe that
distinct.
like people of color are just making it up. It's not. And that's why I say like you need to post, you need to share, go to a rally, be safe, make sure you take a buddy. I always went with a friend, and I would always say like, post, use all the friends, social media that you have, use whatever power you have to make a change.
Right. And seriously, Julie, thank you for being that part of the many brave men, women, and people who are willing to make up that fight, not only for people of color, not only for people of the Jewish community, but also people of all other communities who've had their obstacles for being themselves, whether it's LGBTQI plus or the Muslim community, excuse me, or whatever. You're right. And I'm someone who's been passionate about it too, as a multiracial person who's
Mhm.
who's it's, if you see my family, it's been a unique situation. My um my father's a person of color. My mom's half Italian and Latino. So I've been someone who, and it's for me as a multiracial person, it's been hard to identify my whole life, because
Mhm.
that's one thing I don't think even a lot of my friends from college and beyond, something I it's not deal with, because it's really not a problem, but it was always unique, like, oh, what are you, and stuff like that. And I've been called various things and whatever, but
Mhm.
I knew, as somebody who has this racially ambiguous skin, but I'm
Mhm.
lucky who sees all perspectives, and why we need to have those uncomfortable conversations, because that's the only way we create the change. Because if we don't have it, as you said, we ignore the problem, that will just keep going and going, and it has to take a stop. And we need people from all communities, and especially the white community, to help finally take a stand. And for the new generation coming in, people who oppress, who oppress, people who are racist, people who are homophobic, people who are unbeliever, all of that is inherited. It's not you're not born with it. And we need to finally create that change and have those uncomfortable conversations, because that's when it will be it will be change. I'm sure you would definitely agree.
Yeah. It's just, I just want to kind of talk about like this instance, during, I think, the height of it all. My friend and I think we were just grabbing food, and she's a person of color, and there was a cop, a big white, cop that walked by, and automatically out of fear, she like grabbed my hand because she was scared. And to me, I understood, and I like made sure that like she was okay. But even doing things like that is huge,
Yeah.
but it's just kind of crazy how this is one of my best friends, like I talk to her every day, and all of a sudden she's like grabbing my hand because she's terrified that this one man is going to end her life, or like
Yeah.
hurt her or do something. It's I think it just we need to continue to push. And right now there's a lot of holiday talk, which is great, and everyone kind of stopped posting, and like even I can do better. You can always do more. I think I can
Of
always
course.
do more.
you know
Donate, talk about it.
and having these conversations with microphones and without them.
Mhm.
This doesn't end after the podcast is done. This doesn't end with social media. This is a lifelong fight, so that one day the next generations can more normalize and accept people for their diversity and who they are. And it's sad that our history, though, I'm somebody who is proud of to be an American, but also extremely aware of its dark history that needs to be changed from it as
Mhm.
well. It wasn't dandy for a lot of people, and like it's time to I think it's fair to be someone who's proud to be an American, but also knows there needs to be immense change. And I think, whether with the election results, whether you are for or against them, I think the most important thing is that there is a change from it, because clearly, amongst the tension, I personally don't think it was working beforehand, and I think now it's time to give it another chance. And if it's wrong, then
I
we could try again. But for now, these 4 years, whether you support who's going in the White House, whether you support if you have any governor changes or any local, you have
Mm.
to trust that something has to be changed, because obviously the pandemic was hell for so many people, and then there was this who have been dealing with these oppressions their entire life, and then will continue to. I'm
Mhm.
I'm sure you can agree to that as well, that it's time for something to change, and we have to not forget what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, just gotta remember, gotta keep posting, having those uncomfortable conversations, even if it means with your family.
Yeah, for sure. It was funny you say that, because I knew this would really be because I had that kind of family, like really deep talk with my family, and because it is a multiracial family, that those were even a tough conversations for us. And I'm sure
Mm.
you've had that with your family, or obviously your close friends, that it's time to discuss this, because we can't have this anymore. We can't have anybody be genuinely afraid for their safety because somebody feels some type of way because of someone's skin color, someone's actions, the way people go across. It's not fair to be scared, but it's sadly something that it is a thing that needs to be changed. And we
Agreed.
can do it. It's important to make those to march. It's important to post those. And for those people who are haters of it, well, we clearly know what side they are on in this argument. So it's
True
okay.
that.
Any way we can help, and we can now see. I'm proud to see the changes with the votes, and we prove, and with that proof, hopefully giving faith to people who were
Mhm.
losing faith in this country. That shows how we really can make a change, and
Mhm.
and it's time to beat this, Julie. It really is.
The only good thing to come out of 2020 was this
Absolutely.
change that's, about to happen.
Yes. That and the recent season of Better Call Saul. Now, that's just me with
Oh,
that. You ever see that show?
my roommate used to like my old roommate, he loved it. I could not get into it.
Nah.
I'm always a sitcom, super just like fun type of Netflix girl.
Well, we appreciate you at least giving it a try. That's all we could do now with these shows. But again, let's get back to some more happy stuff. And as you said, the sitcoms. So when you're on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, illegally Cody, I'm just kidding. Maybe not really. No, I really am just kidding. I don't use that anymore. Long time ago, maybe. I don't know. You could assume, but I could honestly say all my streaming services are.
Paid for.
Yes, I could genuinely say that. The Cody didn't work when I tried, so again, it forced me to do the right thing. But
Okay,
anyways,
I've done some coding work myself. I mean, I didn't. I'll deny it.
wait, quick does judge when I just got a text. Stop this right now. Oh, can't have the FBI say that. Just kidding. No, that was a joke. But
Not
anyways,
enough.
so but sitcoms. You're a big fan of sitcoms. I get that. What are some of the sitcoms you've been enjoying lately?
I actually just rewatch a lot of stuff like New Girl, The
Great
Office,
show. Great
How I Met
show.
Your Mother. For me, like I watch shows to calm down
Yeah.
because my mind's always like we talked about earlier, being a very anxious person. Like for
Mhm.
me, it brings it down. So I don't want to watch things that are super high,
Yeah.
like high energy. But I will sometimes, and then I'll get hooked and be on it for the next 3 days.
Hear that. Hear that.
Yeah.
Do you
But
know
I also used to be a huge fan of Mad Men.
Mad Men? Oh my God, I love Mad Men. Oh, can you tell me you finished the whole? Did you finish the whole series?
Oh, of course. I did that in college because, I was an advertising major. So this was my bread and butter. This was, my grad cav actually said Mad Women on it, and I
No
painted
way.
it. Yeah.
Awesome. And one thing that's cool about Mad Men is whether it's from Peggy or wow, I can't believe I'm blanking her name. The Christina Hendricks, Joan,
Oh,
whether it's
right.
Peggy or Joan who did rise up the ranks in a male dominated world especially in the 60s. Some awesome
Mhm.
character development with that, and they were great people to cheer for. Elizabeth Moss is still one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
So would you say who was your favorite character in the show?
Oh, I don't know if it was Peggy or Dawn. I think with Dawn,
Don.
I wanted to be him, not in like sleeping around with a bunch of men, in that
Right,
way.
right. No
But
promiscuity, but
no, none that I'll tell you about, but I'm just kidding.
fair
um,
enough, fair enough.
but I love clever ideas.
Yeah.
So his pitches that he would come to are just gold to me. Like
Oh,
I love them. And the last episode, I don't want to give it away, but like
oh, we
is
could do spoilers. Spoiler alert right now. I put that warning every time because we talk pop culture. So spoiler alert if you haven't seen the Mad Men finale. So
so basically the ending is the Coca-Cola commercial
share the
that
world with the
actually,
Coke.
right. And I was like, oh my God, like I love how they tie it into actual like history and
Oh yeah.
actual advertising. And that's just like why I was so passionate about it. And yeah, I think that's why he's my favorite character. He's a genius.
Oh yeah, genuine work ethic. Someone who's very confident in himself. And I think any
Alcoholic.
yes, he did have those vices. I remember that one of his when he was really drunk doing a pitch, I think it was to like Kellogg or something. I don't know,
Yeah,
but I remember he was really drunk and he accidentally took the idea of a person who was trying to get hired and he had no choice but to hire him.
yeah.
I liked how Mad Men had a lot of random funny moments in there. For being a very serious show, there's some hilarious stuff. Like, do you remember in the this was in the last season, a pitch failed and Don was like he told like the copywriter pretty much he was telling him in metaphors like basically you have to tell these people you guys he basically told them like I'm paraphrasing, I'm definitely getting the line wrong, but he said so you guys took the balls to finally come back here, but he actually said it to their face, and
Right.
then it's just you see Pete Campbell with the hilarious what the fuck face, and then he got fired in one of the most intense firing scenes ever. He just said it so badass. You're
I
fired.
Yeah, there were always those little tidbits in there.
Right, right. Man, did you like the Mad Men end? I mean, obviously you like that part. Did you like how it all wrapped, the way it wrapped things together with all the characters, Peggy gets with again, I can't think of the guy's name.
Oh, he gets with the
Stan.
yeah, with the artist, and I was like,
And
oh,
then
every to me, doing advertising, it's always a thing that people joke about that the art director and the copywriter are always like husband and wife,
oh, is that
or
true?
like work husband and wife.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cute that they did that.
How about that? Then we have Roger running away well, I'm so ashamed of myself blanking on the names of
With Joan,
he
did he
no
run away
he
with Joan?
he run all right. I'm pulling up the cast list and I won't blank on
It's been a
anyone's
while.
names. He runs away with Megan's mom. I thought that was a nice little
Oh,
thing.
right. Yeah, so I don't know. Sometimes I didn't love that Don just kind of ditched everything. I
Yeah,
don't know. I
well,
was
that was his
kind of,
character. He just didn't have control anymore. Things were changing from to the 60s to 70s, and he just ran away. I just kind of find that interesting. But I like the little ending that trip gave him this final motivation. I personally did, but I can say it was kind of scummy, and there was some tough things like Betty's terminal illness kind of stinks.
Mm,
Um,
yeah. Although
but
she was kind of,
oh man,
I don't know if I can say swear on here,
you can
but
swear if you want, but I think it's an accurate her character. Kind of
yeah, I did not care for her, so I didn't care
so.
about Don leaving her.
But it was
She was
nice.
not.
We saw Joan also started a production company. Pete
Oh
and
yes.
that girl ran away together, which was his real life wife in the show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I really like Sally Draper a lot. I like Kierna Shipka. I think she's gonna be she's an awesome actor. She's going far, and I kind
Yeah,
of
she
wish
was great.
I just kind of wish her and Don made amends at the end, but I guess not.
Hmm.
But hey, great show, Mad Men. Great show. And you know who I really liked in that show, who sadly had a sad ending, was Lane.
That got me emotional. I
It
remember
was
that.
tough, but he's an awesome actor, though. Actor
Yeah,
Jared Harris.
that definitely
But
threw us through a loop.
yeah, did you know he's actually Dumbledore's son in real life, the actor?
What? No,
The first Dumbledore.
I had no idea. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Do you like Harry Potter?
Not a huge fan.
Me neither, so
So
what
we're
we
good.
could
We're
have
on the
done.
same page.
Oh man, you know what show I just started binging, which I
What?
love? Community. You ever see Community?
I've heard of it and I've seen like little clips, but I haven't tried it yet. Is it
It's
good?
it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It's about just these people in a community college, and I think it's amazing cast. You have Joel McHale, Donald Glover,
Ooh.
Allison Brie, one of my favorite actors, one of my favorite female actors, also in Mad Men.
Mm.
Uh, Yvette Nicole Brown, who played Helen in Drake and Josh, if you remember, the theater
Oh my
owner.
God. Yes.
She's great. So I mean,
Such a
awesome
great
cast,
pick.
awesome writing. So
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll
it's
have
on
to check
Hulu.
it out.
I'm only 3 episodes in, so maybe you can catch up.
Yeah, I'll catch up. I can do
So
that.
Community's great, really great. And you know what? The last show I binged. You remember the show My Name Is Earl by any chance? It was on when we were in middle school. It was a nice
I
little
don't
cult
think
show.
so.
It's really good if you were looking for something nice, half an hour comedy. It's simply about a guy, a former criminal who had an epiphany and won the lottery, and he uses that money to fix all problems. He makes a big list of people he did wrong, and he tries to make up for it.
Hmm.
Whether it's this person who was afraid of the dark and he helped fix that, and it's hilarious too. There's an episode where he stole an RV and figuring out a funny way to get that back. Some great guest
I
appearances
love
are
that.
in, and it's really sweet. It's only 4 seasons too, so you can bang it out. And again, watch that on Hulu.
Okay. Well, I'll add it to my list.
Oh, you will not be disappointed. So one other thing, Julie, that or a couple other things.
Mhm.
One, adulting that we were talking about before. How has it been for you adjusting now to truly adulting? Now we're a solid few years out of school, the both of us. How has adulting transitioning been for you? You know, pre,
Ooh,
during, and post COVID.
yeah. Um, so post college, I was so overwhelmed with what I could do because I knew basically I didn't even have to do advertising. Like I could
Hmm.
do anything I wanted. I
Right.
could just be a hobo if I wanted.
use that degree. Use that degree to its best, right? As a
Exactly.
hobo.
As a hobo. I would have a nice box too.
I guess it helps you get ready for the real world, so why not?
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I actually worked at the home, not Home Goods, H&M in Foxwoods, the Tanger
Oh,
outlet.
the H&M in the Hot Foxwood. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, so
I love that place. No way.
yeah, I worked there for like a year after college. And that was an interesting time. There was a lot of, you get a lot of fun characters
Oh, I
when
worked
you're,
retail for a long time too. I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, especially at a casino. Oh
Yeah.
my
Oh
God.
man, you must have had some pre and post people who've had some crazy nights or
I've
days, I
had
guess.
creepy men.
Oh,
Funny stories, but I mean, we had one woman walk in there, just a bra on, no shirt, drink in her hand. It's
wait,
10 o'clock in the morning. We just opened up, and mothers are like shielding their children's eyes, and we had to like escort her out of
wait. So she just shows up with the bra and that's it,
just a bra and pants, and she's like
and like bra
drunk,
and pants and not a care in the
just
world at
without a
10 in the
shirt.
morning.
Not a, yep.
I mean, I don't know.
So
I thought like the breeze as soon as you walk wherever you're from would be a good hint or
you
something.
would think, but sometimes,
Some people really
you
are
know,
lost in the sauce.
when you're drunk at 10 a.m., it's you don't care.
Oh boy. I can't say I had anything like that. Wait, did I? Not at. I think there was a situation similar that there was a man in his birthday suit who walked into Cole's, but I wasn't there. So,
Oh, Jesus.
obviously the camera had to be X'd out for that, and he was long gone again under the influence.
Jesus. But yeah, oh, sorry.
No, no, you're good. You know what I hate? I hate customers who come up with their own sales that I never heard of.
Oh
Give
my
me
God.
20%, 30%. And we don't have that today. Then I'm all of a sudden an asshole to them and get
Right.
complained.
Oh, I got yelled at by a woman in a wheelchair. I because apparently I was an asshole to her because she put her clothes on top, and then they like, because it was a silk shirt, so it like slipped right off, and I went to pick
Hmm.
it up. She's like, "You're just throwing my shit on the ground. How dare you? I'm gonna talk to your manager." And they were just throwing things everywhere. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I said, "Don't talk to me that way." And she was like, "How dare you say that?" I was like, "What do
Oh,
you mean? Like, who is this woman?"
you miss the girl showing up drunk when you have something like that.
Right. Yeah. I was like, "Oh, her and I could be best friends. I
At
would
this
rather have
point,
her."
just have to buy her a shirt and then you'll be really friends.
Exactly.
But yeah, I just hate like customers who just think they're above it. You just work at retail and stuff, but it's no, it's you know, you need
Hmm.
clothes in this world. So come
Yes.
on, help us out.
Right. So post Foxwoods and H&M, I actually, that's when I moved up to Mass, in
Hmm.
about April, I think, of 2018. Um, my uncle introduced me to a company that he worked for, and so I ended up getting like a little internship. So I had like a 3-month internship there, and then I ended up staying a few months longer as a marketing assistant, and I realized that was not for me. And then I wasn't really sure where I was still going with my life, so I worked as the I'm trying to remember what it was called, manufacturer assistant, because we worked as a company that would go like do sales for in between all the manufacturers, distributors.
Hmm.
So I was just like a receptionist for a little bit there. And then after that, I ended up working at Boston University for about a year.
Oh wait, that's
Uh,
where my mom went to school.
oh, really? No
Yeah.
way.
Hmm.
Did she go to like the engineering, or what was she?
She got her degree in finance, so
Oh,
whatever
okay.
business school there.
Yeah, it's their business school is insane. But I worked for the computer and electrical engineering department, and that actually
About
was,
that.
oh my God, that was my first design job. That was my first little foot in the door. It wasn't perfect, and it kicked my ass. I think that's what really made me glow up a little bit. Had that, I threw me through a loop. It was not a healthy environment,
Hmm.
and but it definitely made me grow a shit ton. Now that I know I can swear, I'm just
Hell yeah.
sorry, I'm just
Let it all out.
like,
No bleep button on this show.
actually, so I wasn't allowed to swear at all when growing up, and then college. You remember Alfred,
Of course.
right? So, we're all friends then, and I had to do, remember our freshman seminar things that we had to
Oh
do?
yeah. Oh yeah.
I took like an acting, one of them was the acting. So
Hmm.
that was the one I took, and I did this monologue that was like an aggressive, like best friend. And at the end, she says, "Fuck you. My friend's the best," or whatever, and like walks away. And so me being growing up without like saying any of that stuff, I was like, "Fuck you." Like, okay. And so there's like a video they took of me teaching me literally how to say fuck in the most aggressive way
Oh
ever.
shoot! Look at that. Like you really evolved in your swearing, huh?
Yes, yes, I am eloquently a
Using the
swearer.
vocab. That's
Yes.
that's awesome though. That's hilarious. Yeah, I know what you mean in that stuff. So like yeah, it must feel good to be out and independent, and that's some of the few adulting things like that's really been not only the personal growth, but now you can swear some more too, and all
It's so
that.
sad.
Hey, it was never too late. So now use it when you use it in the right sense.
Right, exactly. But now and then I left after a year. And then I had another college friend. You remember Ford Draper?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so Ford actually
Good,
reached
very
out
good
to
guy.
me. Yeah. So Ford actually reached out to me. He said his company was looking for a graphic designer and super fast. And I had just left my job probably a month ago. And within like 2 weeks, I got the job. And I've almost been there for a year now. So,
The power of networking, it is a real thing out here, and being
mhm,
kind to everybody because you never know who can help you out.
yes.
That's an awesome story, Julie. That I'm really happy and proud of you, and it's so great what you're doing, and your work has a great message to it as well. So
Thanks.
a lot of props. Much cheers to that, seriously. And yeah, I've just been trying to do my thing with adulting too. You know, was working pretty solid in the production industry in New York City for a good
Mm,
4 years until like pretty much the way it usually goes. I go on various projects, then then I might be unemployed for a month or two, then hop back on another project, and
gotcha.
so
Yeah.
that was the case as per usual. And then I was getting ready to I got enough credits and work and experience to get promoted to the next level, and then a pandemic hits, and we've been slowly trying to
Right.
you know now with the vaccine here and stuff. Hopefully now the spread extremely lessens in the spring, and hopefully we're starting to see more productions back and stuff, and I'm ready to go back to work. But I know I would have this gap in my resume, and even though it was clear that it was as a result of the pandemic, and I interviewed for 2 jobs the very week the pandemic hit, and had its peak. And well, I just did this podcast because I would continue to do all my production stuff, and also I just love podcasts in general. So this was the other genuine good thing, silver lining to come out of 2020, and it's been great adjusting to
Mm,
that. And sometimes people talk about like the downside of not being working and adulting, and when you don't have work, it could be real nerve wracking. And this really gave me some new purpose, as the stuff I mentioned before, when we were talking earlier, and then some. It's been really great to keep moving, and I just know that I'll be once as this year now goes on, since we're now officially in 2021 as this is posted. I know that I'll overcome that obstacle and be working again. So it's been some time.
yeah, I'm glad to hear it.
Thank you.
Where were you working at? What's the company?
So the last one I did was called the Casting Depot, and we were a production company, mainly
Okay,
unscripted.
I've heard of them actually.
Did you really? It's great to hear. So
I think I have, honestly.
yeah, it's very, very new, and it's only a few years old, but we started developing shows, and the downside when they don't get picked up, but they slowly pick it up again. I had to just switch to the next project until they needed my availability again, if that makes sense. And
Mm.
so,
Yeah,
so,
no, that makes sense.
so I mean, I love those two who gave me a shot of more experience, and
Mm.
hopefully they need me again in the near future. But yeah, like probably one of the biggest shows I worked on. I don't know if you heard it's a YouTube series and probably on Snapchat. It's called Bestie Picks Bay for 17 magazine. And it's pretty much a
Oh, I used to love that magazine as a kid.
oh yeah. So now obviously they're adjusting into the digital world and helping launch these little project this series. So it's just pretty much a game show, dating game. It's like the dating game and your best friends. Best friends just interview a panel of people and they pick who you want to go on a date with. And I helped recruit that and some other shows that sadly didn't get picked up, but maybe another day they will. So it was a good time. And then just there was one particular project that didn't get picked up that we were hoping for that I would have worked on as an associate producer, but the show didn't get picked up,
Mm.
and so I just was had to move on to the next project for that. But we all stayed in touch, and I had plenty of interviews in that time, and they were my reference. And well, it obviously the pandemic hit, so I'll never know if I got beat out or with this cause. But
It was
there
the
was a little
pandemic.
bit of a time that was discouraging, but I just like I it was one I applied to the job I clearly qualified for one of my old internships, and I didn't even get an interview. I literally said fuck this, I'll make my own quality content because I clearly hit every single aspect. Plus, being not only a former intern, but I was also a production assistant there, and they just didn't take me for whatever reason. and
What?
and it's just like whether it was from just the so much HR stuff and they didn't see or whatever, I don't know. That's just what the this game of figuring out how to get a job
Uh,
in this thing. So I just honestly said, you know what, fuck this, I'll make my own content and get noticed that way for work, and that's as a result of why we're talking here today. So
well, wow, that's awesome though. I mean, like I'm sad that like, those things happen, but I'm kind of glad that you started this. I think it's really cool and I've been watching your content too that you post on Instagram and seeing like how well you're doing and I always loved your little reviews. It
oh
seems so
yes.
professional. Like the only other reviewer I know of is that guy from Barstool, so I'm like if there's no one
Yeah.
else you, to me like you're like the other person.
Well, that means a lot, Julie. Thank you for that. That's really dear. And yeah, it's just I appreciate those kind words a lot. And I mean, not only the professional aspects and it's really done great personally, and just being able to catch up like what we're doing here and
Yeah.
reconnecting and stuff and with all other guests. So it's really been a blessing both in all ways. So I appreciate that. And yeah, my MB reviews they've been a lot of fun. As you said, Dave Portnoy from Barstool did the pizza reviews, and the reason why MB reviews became a thing is I took a little break. So I've worked in New York City on and off for 5 years, including my
Mhm.
internships. Then I just took a little break, and I was in 2018. I worked for a couple networks, and then it was just like what I was planning for the first time. I wasn't working for like 3 months, and finally working, got back in, or no, it was more like 6 months. So yeah, it
Mm.
was 6 months. And it was funny. This is kind of ironic. So I used to be a Sirius XM intern, right?
Mm.
So that's where I learned how to do the software to do this. So I interviewed there again to be a board op, and I got it from my old mentor from there. He got me to personally interview with the guy, and they were going to accept me. They said you're hired. And then I had a really bad HR mess that where pretty much, so I was temping a lot, right?
Mhm.
I'm temping. So I put that on my resume that I was temping for this certain real estate company. Now on the application, when in the background check,
Mhm.
so I'm not working for this real estate company. We'll call it real estate company A. I'm not. I didn't work for them. I worked for the temp agency. So
Mhm.
after I'm hired, I was given a legitimate offer pending the background check. So they say I failed the background check, which makes me look awful,
Right.
which that was after a year, pretty much close to 6 months. It was 8 months in between a real job that wasn't temping. So obviously extreme emotions, me against SiriusXM's HR, like you can't say I failed a background check. That's all the assumptions. And I look so horrible to my old mentor, who I sadly still haven't talked to this day. I've tried to reach out to explain, and hopefully I can explain from this show. I mean, the podcast isn't possible because of this guy who taught me all the stuff I needed to make this podcast.
Mm.
So the I failed the background check. I have to figure it out. So it took 2 months to clear what happened. And what happened was the background check was, it said the background check was processed that I was working for the real estate company, but I wasn't. I was working for the temp agency. So it made it look like that I was essentially lying and said I worked there. And I worked there on the weekends, and they said, we never heard of Matt Brown. Well, you didn't hear from me on your records because I work for a temp agency. And I was working on weekends specifically at this temp agency. So it's not like when you call on Monday and you work with the person who's in the office on Monday, they won't know who I am because I work on the weekends.
Right. Jesus. Okay.
So I
Oh,
obviously was that was really bad time, and it really really hurt, and I just had to keep fighting. I knew I can't and let these sad demons and really anxious and like lose trust, because how could I trust any temp agency, any job, if they mess something up so catastrophically like that? And well, I just really reapplied again, and I love New York City, dear to my heart, and I still hope to work there. Even I've been commuting for 5 years, I still want to move there and everything. And it's
mhm.
very dear to me to be in New York City for good. So when I did wind up after that catastrophe, it did only take a month to get a job again, which I still
Okay.
appreciate from Nice Shoes after that horrible thing that happened. And to this
Jesus.
day, I still want to figure it out. And even though how upset I am at SiriusXM HR specifically with that miscommunication, and like I had such an honest convo with this person, like, listen, I'm fine because I was just starting out, but couldn't imagine if I had a kid and you took that job away from me because of a mess up like
Right.
that. And she just did this HR bullshit, to be honest with you, and saying stuff. And I'm sure, like, you're not in my situation like this, that I'm freaking the fuck out because
Oh, of course.
if I fail a background check, you could anything you could be assumed I'm a criminal or something and stuff.
Right.
And
Right.
most importantly, I look like a liar, and I wasn't. So it really took some time with that. And when I finally got back into New York, the reason why the reviews became so important and dear is because I love the city that much that I have to review the local places that much. And
Mm.
it's obviously evolved into other places. I've done MB reviews in LA and Cape Cod, but it was
Mhm.
because of how much I love the city and how much I want to know how important these local businesses especially are. I mean, with the exception, I've done like the McRib and the Popeye's chicken sandwich because they were just big
I saw
phenomenons.
that recent one.
But it's to show off the local businesses of New York City that made me
Right.
love the city so much and continue to. So that's why MB Reviews became a thing. It's not only because of the fun to try new things, but it's just to show the NYC culture that's very near and dear to me.
I love that.
So, and I'm, as you see, still keeping them up. I
Yeah,
appreciate people who we're at about, yeah, it'll be 2 years in January when it's 2 years of MB Reviews. So it's
that's
just
crazy.
it's just emphasizing how cool the local people are, or the rare times when a big fast food phenomenon happens. So, but at the
Yeah,
end of the day,
actually,
MB Reviews is a thanks just as my way to show how cool NYC is and having fun with it at the same time.
I love that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I thank you um for tuning in, and we have plenty of more. And Julie, I'd love to do one with you one time. You got to show me a cool spot in Boston, and we could do an MB review together. And
Ooh,
I'll be honest with it too, because that's the one thing I know. One place in New York City, I am definitely not welcomed after giving them a bad review if they figure out who I am. So I will be honest. I can't. So hopefully, if you're down to do this, we have to go to. You have
Oh,
to trust that it's a
100%.
good. So we have to go to a place that's good because I have to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. No, well, I'll take you somewhere good.
Awesome, awesome. And as you
Yeah.
saw, I was honest about the McRib.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big, I don't really eat McDonald's and stuff.
Mhm.
So the McRib is not something that's exciting to me. So you weren't impressed if I can remember. And I don't know. I'd rather have the real thing too. I'd rather make my own
Yeah.
McRib.
No, seriously, I encourage you to do it like that because of well, because that's just because it's horrible. So I encourage you to stay away. And like the thing, it was this place in New York that I called them out for being overly expensive, and it was very small and it wasn't good. It was this place called Schnippers, and and I tag everyone that I do the review because I want to be authentic with it. And they respond back to me a 100 emoji. As all with that, so hopefully they don't remember me.
Yeah.
So like
I
if
wonder
you
if they have your face like plastered on the back. Do not let this man in.
still there, Schnippers on 23rd Street and Park Avenue. That's where it was, 23rd and Park. If you want
Mm,
a burger the size of your hand, that's $15. Go be my guest. That's their place to go. I just don't want it.
yeah. No, thank you.
Oh man, but we've been killing it for an hour and a half, Julie. I hope you've had as much fun as I have. I've been enjoying catching up and learning
Yeah.
new things and stuff. So before we say goodbye, just two things. One, is there anything that you want to promote or say before we do this one last part?
Yeah, so definitely want to promote my company, Mentor Works. So we help a lot of students, people, actually everyone who is just out of college trying to, figure out their life in this crazy world right now. Um, with the whole finding a job, sometimes you can't finance yourself because of what's going on, and these are different than alone. It's completely different. I You can learn more at mentorworks.com. So
All right.
check us
Thank you.
out.
Thank you to our friends in your team and community for what you do with Mentor Work. So
Thank you.
thank you to the great men, women, and people who are doing that. So with that, Julie, as I end every podcast with the Proust questionnaire, which is a nice, somewhat rapid fire, but also a nice deep question. So do you want to do that?
Sure, let's bring it.
All right. So there are 10 questions for the Proust questionnaire. Julie, first things first. What is your favorite word?
Shit.
Is that really your favorite word? All right.
I use it all the time.
I was not expecting that, but I love it. I love it. So, what's your least favorite word?
My
A
least
non-curse
favorite
word?
word is yeah, it's actually a non-curse word. Um, it sounds so weird. I hate the word horny. I hate it.
Horny.
I hate it. I don't
It
know
does
why it makes
sound.
people hate the word moist. To me, that does not bother me. Horny. I don't know why it like makes me cringe.
Yeah, that is some unique, when they were developing the vocabulary and dictionary, they picked, you know, why not horny associate this and that,
I just, yeah, makes me cringe.
Horny. Well, least
I
favorite
probably
word.
didn't expect that to come out of
I
my
will
mouth
honestly
either.
say I love your two answers for those two questions. I did not see those coming, but that is definitely up there for the favorites that I've done this. So, shouts to you for that. So, this question. So number three. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you about to say something?
No,
Oh, okay. My bad. So the third question. I'll say this. It's not related to being horny. Once you hear the question, it's more about life when I ask you this. But
yes.
what turns you on?
Um, being in the city at night, the dusk,
Oh yeah.
that gives me so much energy. Like Boston and New York, when I was just like trying to figure out where to go, even now, it just gives me a lot of just life.
Oh, absolutely. That nice dust field with the people, whether you're leaving work or the commuters, or you're going out with some plans you made with someone or some people
Hmm.
at that time. Tell me about it. I love that vibe too. And yeah, and I can't wait to do MB reviews again because um that was one of the things, because I didn't know, obviously I was in New York for again that next year until this happened, and then I'll obviously be back the moment I can be. But again, with MB reviews, just made that so I can, because just appreciate New York, and you never know when it's going to change, and definitely going to appreciate it more after this time. So I
Mm.
definitely hear you on the dusk in the cities.
Yeah. Ugh.
So next question: what turns you off?
Um, I hate I hate smokers. Not like weed, but kind of a
Mhm.
little bit. I am not a cigarette smoker. There is just stuff. I hate the smell. Detest it with a burning passion. That and pickles. I hate pickles.
I like your two's perspective. So we don't like cigarette smokers mostly,
I
and
don't like pickles.
pickles. I do not like pickles either. I'm that type of person. If I go to a burger, ask for the pickles off, I get really mad. I bite it and get that pickly.
I get pissed because it just infects everything.
I don't like it when people put it on chicken and stuff like that. Jeez. It's 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 built differently. It's built
Oh,
differently. That's not for me.
yeah.
So my next question for you is: can you tell me what sound or noise do you love?
These are such just interesting questions.
Right.
But um what sound do I love? I can't think of one. That's actually a very good like question. Besides like music, I don't know. I think I
That still
love
counts.
Oh, I know what I love. I love hearing my dog's little tags when they are running. Because when
Oh,
I come home after like a long day, wow, that just sounds like America's sweetheart. But like,
that's extraordinary. What are the names of your dogs?
Misty and Puzzle.
And what breeds are they? Now, those are cool names. What breeds?
Thanks. Puzzle's a golden terrier and Misty's a border collie lab mix, and she is psycho.
How about that? We need some. I'm sure she gives you plenty of energy, one way or the other.
She's the one I used to run with when I was running during COVID. So,
That was sweet. What sound or noise do you hate?
um, oh, fire alarms because my apartment last year would go off in the middle of the night for no reason all the time.
Oh, that is
And being
not
a
fair.
short person, it sucked trying to like hit that thing.
Remember all the times U Heart would do those? There's just something about the U Heart fire
Oh
alarm.
my God. I remember one time we had a drill and one girl was in the shower. So she
Oh
got
no.
out and it was cold. I think there was snow on the ground.
No.
She was
Oh.
wearing a towel. Oh my God. I gave her my pants and I like felt so bad. And I think someone else gave her like a jacket or something.
Now that is a college story for her. Huh.
Yeah.
Boy. Well, hopefully she didn't get sick. But
Yeah, I hope so.
what an experience with that. But I guess this question's kind of funny with the how this convo has been going. But what is your favorite curse word, Julie? That's a good
Shit.
question.
Or shit or fuck.
Shit or fuck. All right. Number
uh,
8. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
dance. I want to be a dancer.
All right. Again, as we said, not too late. We're in your corner, Julie. We can't wait to see what you provide with that.
Thanks.
What profession would you not like to do?
Ooh, anything that has to do with accounting,
Hmm.
ever. Ever in my entire life, anything that has to do with an Excel spreadsheet, someone just knock me out. I would never ever want to do that.
I definitely hear that. And my last question, Julie, is if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Hmm. I think I'd like to hear him say that what I did on Earth was good. Like what I did, I impacted people, and that I actually, was a good person. And I think that's all that matters sometimes.
That's so wonderful. And I know you're going to do it, Julie. I really do. But seriously, this was a pleasure. It was so awesome catching up. Thank you so much for coming on. I hope you had a great time. And again, if you want to check out the great stuff Julie and her company is doing, go to mentorworks.com and see how they're helping make a difference in their community. Is there anything else you want to say, Julie, before we sign off?
Just want to say thank you so much for having me. This was a pleasure, and thanks for reaching out. This is awesome.
Again, it was my pleasure. So thank you so much for doing this. You're the best, Julie. And hopefully, in a non COVID world, you will show me a great place to do an MB review. And hopefully, we'll all catch up again in person.
Let's do it.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. But with that, that is the great Julie Weiss. Thank you so much. And I'll see you really, really soon. Have a good night.
Bye.